Hi, I'm Deputy First Selectman Sean Askham, and welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm joined by my three friends here, Selectman Cheryl Cook, Selectman Philip Purciello, and Selectman Michael Paine. Guys, great to see you again.
Nice
Very
to see
nice
you.
to see you.
And welcome, officially now on the Board of Selectmen since our last program.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
does it feel different? Does it?
It does. You know, two meetings in now, and going along and learning all this town has to offer, and it's been a good 2 months now.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your input, and obviously you've already started to make a difference. So it's been fun working with you, and we look forward to continuing.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy First Selectman.
Thank you. It's I very much appreciate the support from all of you and from others in town. It's a humbling opportunity, and I'm enjoying it, and look forward to continuing to serve the town in this capacity. So.
And we're all really pleased to have your input in that position. And I think, as we said at the meeting, we are always looking for an opportunity to operate in a bipartisan manner on the board. And I think this is a perfect example of being able to do that. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Lisa and I have already gotten to work. We talk on a regular basis, obviously, about big picture issues. Just making sure that she and I are on the same page, and it's she's great to work with. So I'm looking forward to that continued bipartisan support. So, but thank you for that. So we've had a lot going on in town over the last couple of weeks, right? We've had Septemberfest, we've had the fly-in, we've had the Arts and Crafts Show. So each of us have been at different events and participated in different ways. So why don't we just talk through a little bit about what we've seen and some of the residents we've run into. So.
Well, since the end of the summer, I've had the pleasure actually of participating in quite a few picnics and events, and I enjoy so much going out, and I love serving the food and going to the picnic, and I went to the Aging and Disability Picnic in the Park, where I saw lots of you there, and I think you'll agree that's a great way to share some really happy moments with some of our citizens that don't always get a chance to participate in all of our activities, and we are so pleased to be able to put on that event, and I had a great time.
That was fantastic. I had the opportunity, and Cheryl is selling herself a little short. She was manning the grill and making sure Ed LaMontagne was on it with the hot dogs and the hamburgers there, and it was beautiful weather. It was
a great day.
It was a spectacular day, and it was great to
well,
connect with a lot of folks.
I'd just like to thank all the volunteers from the Aging and Disability Commission. Diana Usually headed that commission, committee this year. We changed it up a little bit, had an ice cream truck, a magician,
that was the best part.
a new musician, and I think everybody appreciated all of the work that she put into it, and all the volunteers from the commission who came to help out.
That was really nice.
Well, I had the opportunity this Sunday to volunteer at the fly-in as a guest judge for the aircraft, which was an excellent opportunity. And while I was talking with some of the other judges, they called it the biggest little aircraft show in the country. So
That's accurate.
we had one of the aircraft that actually won top prize had shown in the two biggest air shows, which is Oshkosh and Sun and Fun down in Florida, and that aircraft was a seaplane that came and was here in Simsbury, got great reviews, and we had a ton of volunteers manning tents, and it was a great day for not only aviation but Simsbury as well. And when we think of Simsbury, we often think of Septemberfest, and the fly-in is a staple.
And
of
the
this
cars.
town. And the cars.
Those classic
absolutely.
cars. Oh, they are beauties.
Yes,
I always love
absolutely.
seeing them there.
Yeah, the fly-in's a fantastic event because, again, not only does it give some exposure to the airport, but it brings thousands of people from outside of Simsbury in, obviously helping our businesses, getting exposure to Simsbury for a lot of different reasons. So I think it's always been a fantastic event, and great weather again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Well,
saw
I know-
lots of planes. So
I know my kids tried to go to Jay Foster during the
Oh,
fly-in, and the line was
Not
down
happening.
the grass.
Oh, my
And it
goodness.
was great to see so many of our local businesses being patronized by people who were here for the fly-in. So.
Yeah.
Had some
It was all good.
tough wind in the morning, but it cleared up a little bit, and the planes started rolling in, and people were having a great time.
Excellent.
That's great. That's really great.
So how was Septemberfest, Mike?
Septemberfest, it is just such a great event for the town and everybody. There's something for everybody at all different times, and what I actually enjoy about it is just walking around talking to people,
Right.
and you're allowed to be very accessible to people, and people come up and ask you questions. Sometimes you don't have the answer, and that's fine. There's a couple of people I had to get back to because I didn't necessarily have all the details that they wanted, but it's a great format for the town, again, for the really the entire package is economic development, but it benefits the town and the businesses and the people in town. And the music's pretty good at night, too.
I was gonna say that.
And the fireworks.
Oh, yeah. It's fun. And whether you're dropping your kids off at the gymnastic training center down there, or they're going over for the blow-up inflatables.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think they had the hot air balloon as well this year.
They had a
were
hot air
trying to.
balloon.
Yeah.
Yep. Lots of
it's just a great day
Right.
in the town.
Yeah, I think it is.
In a fantastic facility, too.
Yeah, the Performing Arts Center board and that whole group does a great job of organizing
do.
it. And they take a lot of feedback every year of what works well, what doesn't. You saw the inflatables were a little further back this year. They popped the fireworks over behind so that folks could still enjoy food by the stage. I think Bobby Kane might have sold out of every cheeseburger in the town of Simsbury on Friday night. Their
I
line
think
was so long.
Millwrights.
They did all right
They
as
sold
well.
out too. They were.
So any restaurants that weren't there, I think, missed out on a heck of an opportunity because
Absolutely.
those lines were, were 50 people deep most
yeah.
most of the
yeah.
time there. So it was an excellent event. Beautiful weather again for that, with the exception of a
Absolutely.
little bit on Saturday there where we
Yeah,
snuck
there was
out.
a little bit of
Right.
downpour.
Yeah, but we were fortuitous in stopping over to the Masonic Lodge there for the pig roast, which was their
Right.
first event at that
Timed
time.
it very well.
That was a lot of fun. So
Yes.
that was open to the public as well, and I think they're going to be doing that on an annual basis. So
That's great.
folks should look for that next year.
Yep.
Also had the opportunity to participate at a cleanup at Town Forest a couple weeks back, right
Right.
before the Aging and Disability Picnic. They don't tell Tom Roy, but they let me chop down a couple of trees. So that was we had permission.
Right.
Okay,
You
okay.
just wanted to use the chainsaw.
And the first selectman was there. She said it was okay too. So,
I got the blessing.
it's amazing, and we wanted to talk about these 4 events, I think, because it just again highlights the volunteerism that we have in this community.
Absolutely.
None of
and
this
the-
was to make
yeah.
any money. None of this was to do anything other than to showcase our town and get folks out and to talk to each other and bring folks in from other communities.
Yep.
And just a wonderful amount of input and service that comes into this. And the residents respond. Folks go to this, and it's outstanding to see it be successful yet again. So
There's one other group that we should thank for another wonderful event, and that's the police department for
Yes.
the
Yes.
senior picnic.
Senior picnic.
Every year they put on a picnic for our senior residents, and this year was no different. And the police officers do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
yep.
The Canes, catering, and all the selectmen go down and serve, and the police officers drive in folks on the golf cart and make sure everybody's safe. Had some great music, some really awesome dancing going on.
There was one individual, I can't remember his name. He danced for like 45 minutes.
It was Mike Paine.
It was not
It
Mike
was
Paine.
not my thing. Although I did get to dance with the chief of police.
I was going to say the chief I heard was in high demand, as he always is with
Yeah, I did.
many dance partners. Yeah, I was sorry to miss that event, but
But
Eleanor was
that's right. That
calling my
Eleanor's
number.
birthday.
Yeah.
So my daughter was born on September 2nd. So my wife and I have been a little busy, but and
Well,
very
congratulations to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
She's beautiful.
excited. Thank you. So, but I heard that was a wonderful event, as it always is. So.
Oh, she's
But
great.
another reflection on the volunteerism
Right.
and the service in our town. I mean, these was given by people who give of themselves every day,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
for them to give back even more is very special.
We're so lucky that the police department operates the way they do, because they don't need to. There's a lot of ways to run a police department. There's a lot of ways to police a community such as ours, and the chief and all the officers really choose to be proactive community partners.
Yeah.
It's I venture to not even call it policing, because it feels like partnership. Where they're out there collecting food. They restocked the pantry when it was running dangerously low this summer while lots of folks were on vacation. They stepped in. They collect toys, over the holidays. They help with the turkey trot in the fall. The officers, and this is all on their own time. They're not
Right.
doing this on the paid hour, and it's
Right.
and they do it because they live in this community or they live in communities like ours and they want to be a part of it. So, we're extremely lucky. So when you see those officers, thank them for being a part of our community, not just policing it. So we've got a lot of good volunteering, a lot of fun activities, a little bit of town business. We updated everybody on the business incentive plan last time.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to have an opportunity, or potentially a number of opportunities to use it in the not so distant future here.
Right.
So we've got a couple of projects that are potentially coming down the pipeline. So more to come on that, and that'll obviously run its course through the the business development
Right.
committee first, and then obviously it will get to the board of selectmen for an ultimate decision.
Well, and more importantly, that policy can be used not only for new businesses, but existing businesses. And,
That's huge.
we are very much in favor of supporting our existing businesses if they want to expand, grow their business.
Right.
Get in touch with us. Maybe we can help you with that. And,
Absolutely.
so I think it's going to work well for everybody, new and old businesses.
Well, and I felt that was really important, as did you guys, that we take care of the residents or the businesses that are already here and set them up to succeed, and that's part of the way you do it. And talk them through the process, and I think it's a great, what do they call it? Another tool in the toolbox.
Another tool.
Right.
Exactly.
And we've got to try the plan out. We've got to see how it works. We've got to
Right.
go through the process. And if we need to make changes, if we need to tweak it, I mean, I know I speak for you guys and our friends across the aisle as well. We'll make those changes
Right.
if they need to be made. But, again, we've got to put something out there to get the process going, to get the conversation going, because, development is a scary thing for some people, and it's a necessary thing for others. But we've got to make sure that the right kind of development comes in, and that we're armed with the ability to encourage it when our needs and the development community's needs align. So I think that's one of the reasons I know I supported it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in action.
Well, I think the Economic Development Task Force is soliciting opinions
They are.
from local businesses regarding lots of issues that are currently on the table with EDC, including the town website.
Correct.
And, the business incentive policy, some of the marketing plan for the town. So if you are watching this and you own a business, then I would encourage you to let your opinion be known, or call one of us, or call the First Selectman's office. We're always willing to listen. You probably have a lot of ideas that we haven't thought of yet.
Right.
So
Yeah, and it's great that you mentioned that. I believe there's an opportunity tomorrow.
it's
which
tomorrow, yeah.
We'll miss on the taping, but
Right.
again, you can send comment into town hall and into any one of us as selectmen to get those comments on the website, because we've gotten a lot of feedback. The survey said that the website
Right.
wasn't user friendly. I agree, it's not user friendly because I use it. But and there's definitely room for improvement there. And it should make mention. The Economic Development Task Force over the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, has accomplished so many things on a very, very small budget when it comes into it. Rewriting the business incentive plan, the marketing plans, working on additional marketing swag or material for us for the community.
Working with
Website.
tourism,
The
EDC,
website,
and,
a lot of this work because of, again, community members that have an expertise in marketing, in real estate, in business development, in website design. We're getting a lot of these services basically for free because these people are volunteering their time from their professional space. So it's been, I think, one of the better things, if not the best thing that I've supported as far as investing and getting a return on the Board of Selectmen. So it was a dream thought up by Nancy, and she's seen it through, and I think we're really
Right.
reaping the benefits of it. So that's been
Huge.
exciting.
Yeah, it's actually really nice to see how all this is going to ultimately, I envision it helping us with our next budget, because as we've been fortunate enough to do for the last 2 years with zero increase or actually a minor decrease, which is never happened, is my understanding in the town budget.
1 year, let alone 2.
2
yeah.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and look forward to these are various tools in our toolbox, but they can help us to grow that. And frankly, your two choices to my way of thinking are either raise taxes to cover your expenses or grow what you tax by having new businesses come in and expand. And that's far preferable from my viewpoint, and I think many other people's.
I absolutely, and it's we're coming into an interesting time. We've accomplished so much over the past 2 years. Keeping taxes in check while making sure that we're maintaining services. We've actually expanded the police force. We've funded economic development projects, as you said, Mike. But it's going to be interesting as the governor's already cut our municipal aid for this fiscal year. Now, thankfully, The first selectman's office, our board, and the finance director assumed we weren't going to get the full amount, so we're well prepared for this. You know, if there are additional cuts, we're going to have some challenges, and it's going to be interesting from a budgetary standpoint. But the good news is, again, it looks like we've got some grand list growth. You know, we've got some projects coming online that maybe not everybody loves, because, you know, they might be gas stations or other things, but they will help. They will help the tax base for sure. You know, and again, we've got to continue to pick and choose our spots there. But
Right.
you know, I think with what we've learned over the last few years, I think we'll be able to transfer that to the next few years over, you know, from a budgetary standpoint and, you know, from an economic development standpoint. So,
Well, and to that further define, or a defining moment is the Hartford,
Yeah.
which potentially 3 years ago, I was concerned that it was going to be sold and/or
Correct.
significantly reduced tax revenue-wise, and that's
Right.
over $1.5 million, $1.6 million a year.
Yep.
And because we were proactive and encouraged them to come back with a form-based code, it is actually going to continue, and someone is in the process of dotting the i's and crossing the t's to take over the property,
They are.
which is a huge sigh of relief for me, because
good news.
we would be hard-pressed to make up that difference.
yeah, you're absolutely right. We've got, as I look at it, we've got phase 2 done. You know, so phase 1 was getting ready and making sure the town was as proactive as possible to facilitate the sale. Phase 2 is the sale, obviously, right? Then we're going to move into phase 3, which is arguably going to be the most difficult because there's going to be a massive development of some kind, right? There's going to
something
potentially be residential or retail or both.
Right.
With some anchor properties. Again, you know, it's not set up for anything like we've talked about in years past, but it is going to be development, and it is going to add traffic to Route 10. How much it adds compared to what the Hartford at peak capacity from an employee standpoint is, I don't know. We're going to have to see that.
Yeah.
But what I encourage folks, and I know what we're all going to do, is keep an open mind. See what it is. Let it go through the land use process. Give our input as residents and as individuals that pay taxes and live in this town, but be part of the process in a proactive manner. You know, we
Right.
tend to let our hearts drive us on land use issues, and we get that. But you know, we've got to make sure that we get the public comment in there, but think about it, you know, thoughtfully, because it's one of the largest, if not it's the largest piece of property to be developed in this town. So we've, you know, there's a lot that's going to come with
Well,
that.
I think you hit the nail on the head with telling people to be aware of
Yeah.
what's going on. We have several big projects going
Right.
on now. East Point is about to open. I think
Yeah.
we'll all be
Yep.
there for the ribbon cutting for that. We have new development going into Powder Forest.
Right.
And then the Hartford property will close, and we'll have to see how that goes. And,
Absolutely.
you know, don't wait until something's approved to start voicing your opinion. We have lots of hearings. There's going to be lots of time to talk to people and to comment. So
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what being involved in the process is, and I learned that from my planning commission days. And a lot of people have different viewpoints, and you've got to talk them through, and you base your decisions and on correct information and the facts, and actually see what it is. And in some cases, it was very much not what I had been told things were going to be. But when you look at the plans and look at them, it is stretching yourself to look at it from
Right.
different perspectives.
Well, plus there's always rumors and people on the
You
internet.
bring up the
and-
point. Yeah, I mean,
and,
please
you
don't
know-
use Facebook as your vehicle to understand land
Right.
use. And I know it's easy and I know it's quick, but you know, I see a lot of groups out there that get very excited, and you know, because somebody puts up a post or somebody, you know, shares a thought. Come to the meetings, read the submission documents. I know it's cumbersome. I read them. You know, there's several developments, you know, that are in the hopper now. You gotta call town hall. You got to show up to the hearings, and you know, afterwards is unfortunately too late, because there is a process, and we need to be respectful to the residents and the development community and make sure that we're balancing those needs. It doesn't mean I'm for or we're for every project. It doesn't mean we're against them, but you know, again, everybody needs a fair shot through the process.
Right.
So,
And actually, one of the things that I would suggest people do is that they can actually go to the town's website,
Yeah.
go to the different commissions, and you can actually sign up to get the minutes and
Right.
agendas, and
Correct.
then you will know what is on the agenda
Correct.
and what they're going to be talking about and when.
that's a great
And-
point,
and,
Mike.
I do that to keep track of a bunch of different committees, so I don't have to necessarily okay, it's Tuesday and at 6 o'clock I'm supposed to be
Right.
here, and the third Thursday it's
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot to keep track of.
You
You're
actually
right.
get to track it, and you can look at the minutes and everything else and see what's going on
Well, you know, we
for the
are all
previous
about
meeting.
transparency, and every document
Absolutely.
that we have is on the website.
Correct.
I mean, sometimes it's you have to click through a couple times, but,
Right.
you know, if we're seeing it, you can see it, so.
And if you can't find it, ask one of us.
Right.
Ask town staff. That's
Yeah.
that's what we're here for, is to help folks
Mm-hmm.
find that.
That's
And
what we
speaking
need.
of which, Phil, we recently did pass an ordinance,
Yes.
so I think it's important that we.
Our fire hydrant
Fire
ordinance.
Correct.
hydrants,
Yep.
yeah.
Which came through public safety,
Right.
and it's in essence that any fire hydrant abutting or on a property, whether that be private or public, it has to do with the clearing of anything adjacent to that fire hydrant.
Right.
And the ordinance itself gives us the ability to enforce the clearing of the fire hydrants. So we'd like to all hope that, you know, within a community, within a neighborhood, that people are looking out for their neighbors. Ultimately, it's the safety of everyone within
Right.
that community.
Right.
That's tapping into that fire hydrant in the event that, you know, the fire department needs to come and use that fire hydrant. So
All right.
we view it as a big win for public safety.
Correct.
And most definitely a step in the right direction of ensuring that our residents remain safe.
Yeah, I think you made a great point, Mike, when we were discussing this at our meeting, that, you know, a fire hydrant, just because it's on one person's property, you know, serves that whole neighborhood.
Right.
So,
That was
you
a good
know,
point.
you can always go to your neighbor and say, hey, can I help you with that?
Right,
And, you know, this covers snow, vegetation, walls,
Yeah, right.
whatever it
Fences, yep.
is, you know, just the woods, you know, it tends to grow around the fire
And I
hydrant.
know there was some question as to what happens if someone who doesn't have the means to clear it themselves. Well, hopefully, you know, someone within the neighborhood is going to reach out to that individual and help out their neighbor. But I know we've also that the social services will
Right.
Correct.
do their best to get out there, and they've identified a lot of people who do require that assistance.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a great initiative for them to take as well.
It's another great example of the volunteerism in this town. As we all know, our fire department are volunteers.
Right.
And they proactively work with folks to make sure that they get those hydrants cleared. They work with social services. There is actually a team of folks on standby, which I would be happy, and I'm sure we would all
Absolutely.
lend our name to if somebody needed that fire hydrant for whatever reason. And the intent of this ordinance is not to fine people. The ordinance does allow the police department to do that after a warning, but that's not the intent. It's really to just to provide a mechanism for the fire department to go out to a homeowner and say, folks, we need you to move this stone wall or to clear this vegetation. Apologize that you worked hard putting it up, but again, those minutes and those seconds are going to make a difference if there's a fire. We've actually had 2 major structure fires in the last couple of months here that resulted in no injuries, thank God, but significant property damage. And the fire department was able to put them out quickly because of access to the hydrant services, obviously, and we have a great volunteer force. So it's important. Again, we never have fires in this town. Well, that's not true. We have them.
We do.
Fortunately, frequently, and again, we're very lucky to have the protection we do. So,
And our neighbors in nearby towns have enacted similar ordinances, which has resulted in a large uptick of that, the obstructions not occurring anymore, and it's been very successful.
yeah, I think the fire marshal mentioned that Bloomfield had passed an ordinance, and they have 98%
Yes.
compliance without the need for an infraction
Absolutely.
or a ticket being written.
Right.
So again, the police department has no interest in going out and writing tickets unless they absolutely have to, and I hope that everybody will make sure that they don't absolutely have to.
Right.
So.
Well, and as you mentioned, I think it's a great opportunity for the neighbors to help their
It does.
neighbors. And
Right.
Yes.
it's a little thing, but it's not a little thing, and it's a good thing. You feel good about helping somebody out. And
Absolutely.
it may also, in a selfish interest, keep your house from if it goodness
Absolutely.
forbid it.
Yeah,
we all live in
They're
this
for
town. It's
everybody.
important to remember
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
It helps everybody.
So in our closing minutes here, we've obviously entered election season once again, and I know we're all going to be out there knocking on doors and meeting with folks. So it's important that that folks get in touch with us if they have questions, if they'd like to know more about us. We have a webpage, simsburygop.com. We all have Facebook pages. Obviously, you can email us through our private email accounts and/or get a hold of us through the town emails. But any closing thoughts, guys, on what you've seen from residents so far, or what you'd like to share?
Not so much, but since our last show, schools are open.
Yep.
A lot of kids out there. Please slow down for crosswalks, bicyclists, kids waiting for the bus.
Yes.
Thank
It is
you.
actually
That's
our
a good reminder.
responsibility to stop for them,
It
not their
is.
responsibility.
That's right.
That's a great
For us.
reminder. Yeah, for the folks that cruise through on David Drive far faster than they should, please slow down.
Yep.
I think that the election season's a great time if you don't have the ability to make one of the public hearings at a Board of Selectmen meeting, to speak with us and interact with us and tell us what's really on your mind, and
Right.
we could take that in deep consideration and try to begin to enact ideas on how we could best serve our residents, because ultimately we're here to serve the resident.
Absolutely.
I have to echo that. I actually enjoy going door to door, and I call it my walkabout time. But you go out and you talk to people and you listen to them, and it's more about listening to me than it is
Yes.
actually
Absolutely.
me talking to them. But get feedback on what we've done and what other things you think we should do or want us to address going forward, and really it's about listening.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again for coming out today. This is great to join everybody, and thank you to SCTV once again for letting us come out here and share some messages with the folks in town. Again, if folks have questions or concerns, please call any one of us, email us, stop us at Fitzgerald's, Caine's, wherever you find us at one of these lovely events that we've got in town. Because as Mike said, we do love talking to folks and hearing what's going on, and as Phil articulated, that's where a lot of the great ideas come from, is from the residents, and then we help make it happen. So thank you all again, and we appreciate you joining us for another edition of Community Conversations.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.